Have you ever seen that 50-30-20 rule thing where you should, spend like 50% of your income on your fixed regular expenses and 30% on your variable expenses and 20% on savings, investments, and loan repayments? Something like that. So that's what I want to talk about today. Well, not that exactly, but like the average advice that you get about different things. So if you Google personal finance tips or things like that, most likely you're going to see something like the 50-30-20 rule, the rule that you shouldn't spend more than 30% of your income on rent, like all these. There are so many rules of, or maybe not rules, but like handy tips on how to manage your money and your finances and everything. And for example, the 50-30-20 rule, some people do like pre-tax, some people do post-tax, whatever, but that's not the point. What I want to talk about is how these rules often apply to like people who are in the median, like average, people who have like average income, median income, single income. So there's a lot to consider before applying these kinds of rules to yourself. So I started thinking about this because I saw a post a couple of days ago on Instagram about how somebody was asking, "Oh, I'm a student, whatever, and I just started earning money. How do I manage my finances?" And they were like, "Oh, 50-30-20 rule," which yes, it works. Like on average, it will work. It's a good way to think about how you spend your money. Is a guideline, blah blah blah. But these rules don't always apply to people on the extremes, or to outliers, people who don't fit, who their income is not in like a specific kind of within a bracket or range, who live in some specific kinds of cities. Because suppose you're earning like 100,000 naira a month in Lagos, Nigeria, of which there has been like three research papers that have been published in the past year or two or so, that was like less than 70% of people in Lagos or is in Nigeria earn 100,000 naira per month or more, which is an astonishing number. But anyways, if you earn 100,000 naira a month, and rent in Lagos is bloody expensive, like 100,000 naira a month is 1.2 million a year, and rent in Lagos, even if you want to do like self-contained, is ridiculous, especially for people who mostly work on the island. For example, imagine you mostly work on the island and you live on the mainland, and the places where you can get like quote unquote affordable rent on the mainland are in the extremes. Like the distance to the island is so far. Transport is expensive. It takes a lot of your time. When you factor in all those things, there's absolutely no way that you're spending less than 30% of your income on rent. Like it's just not going to work because of the particular unique situation that you are in. So, not something to beat yourself about. But suppose that you are a student living at home with your parents, working remotely for a company abroad. Maybe your parents are also okay, so you don't really need to do a lot of like black tax things at home. And you're earning like, let's say, 300K a month in Nigeria, living in your parents' house. You're not really going to office. Maybe you're on summer holidays, your school is not in session. You are paying nothing on rent. And then if you look at the 50-30-20 rule, it doesn't work for you because there's really nothing that you're doing that your fixed expenses is 50% of your income, or that you can only save 20% or less of your income. So if you're earning 300K, for example, and you're home with your parents, they are not struggling, they're doing well, you should be actually saving more than 20% of your income. And yeah, so I just think about how like sometimes, and it's kind of related to what I talked about on the episode on how to take advice from people, but this is not a situation of, oh, you're going to a particular person for advice on a particular thing. This is just like all these general rules of thumb, life advice, guidelines, kind of things. And most of the context I can think about are in financial context, like money management context. I'm really struggling to think about some like a scenario outside of that, but I guess there are other places where it will apply. Basically, some of these general guidelines and general rules is always like viewers discretion is advised, basically, because it may not apply in your context. And like from my own personal experience, I remember in 2018 into 2019, I was earning way more money than I needed for anything in this life. So I saved a lot of money, which was very good, because from 2020 to 2023, when I was in Shege, all the money that I saved came through for me in that time and then finished. So like I was able to save, I think I was saving like over 60% of my income at that time. And it was because I was earning way above average. I was living in my parents' house. My office was providing food and transport. So I had very barely any expenses, and I was able to save above that recommendation of 20%. So the point is that at different points in your life and at different times based on your context, because 2022, for example, I saved absolutely nothing. My savings rate was 0% because things were happening. And I didn't now beat myself up because of that. Life went on. Now my life is more balanced. I'm saving a little bit. Not up to, I don't think I'm saving up to 20% of my income yet, but we're getting there. But yeah, so like life is in stages, things happen. Don't beat yourself up if you're not saving 20, 30, 40, whatever percent of your income. But like find the best way to apply or adapt these generic rules of life and behavior to your particular context is the point of all I've been saying since. Thank you for listening. Bye. Also, ask me questions. Submit a question. Submit a question. Thank you. Thank you for listening to today's episode of A Couple of Things. If there was anything you found interesting or insightful, or you enjoyed the episode, please do share to someone or multiple people. Like, leave a comment, and definitely do subscribe and all the nice things. Bye.